It's the Ugly American Werewolf in London Rock Podcast with your hosts, the Wolf and Action Jackson, who are keeping rock alive by talking classic rock, hard rock, progressive rock, heavy metal, 80s music, early MTV, UK vs. US chart success, and much more. This is the home of classic album and live concert reviews and your place for interviews with artists and legends. You're rocking with the Wolf. Out there, rock and rollers. Welcome to episode number 273 of the Ugly American Werewolf in London Rock Podcast. Brought to you by me, your host, Mac B. the Wolf, and I will be joined, as I always am, by my partner in crime from the East Coast of the U.S., Mr. Gary Action Jackson. And we appreciate you tuning in here recently. Seems like we're either prog or heavy metal these days. First week of February, we had a great interview with Oliver Wakeman, talking about seeing his dad live with Anderson, Bruford, Wakeman, and Howe, and his time in Yes. And then we talked Genesis' Trick of the Tail as it turned 50. Then we shifted to heavy metal, where we talked about Ozzy Osbourne's The Ultimate Sin, killer album with Jake E. Lee on lead guitar, that is currently out of print for some reason. And we continue on our metal path today with an album I think everyone who listens to this show would be familiar with, and that's Master of Puppets by Metallica. Now, Jackson and I have been doing this more than 5 years, and we plan where we want to go throughout the year, which albums we want to review, around which concerts we're going to review, artists we're going to come on and interview. And when he said, hey, you know, Master of Puppets is turning 40 this year, I'm like, oh, yeah, well, too bad we already did it. And he said, we haven't done Master of Puppets. I said, we haven't done Master of Puppets? We've done over 300 total shows, and we haven't done Master of Puppets yet? He told me no. So I said, all right, well, that's a no-brainer. Obviously, we have to do Master of Puppets, the 1986 classic that is hailed as maybe their masterpiece. Not their biggest seller. That's the Black Album from 1991. But the one that helped them take a leap forward in their songwriting, in James's singing, in everyone's involvement in the band, making better music and getting it down on record. Of course, it would also prove to be the final from Cliff Burton, who would tragically die in a bus accident in Sweden on this tour. And his classical musical training and melodic bass playing was truly missed for a while in Metallica, and he will always be remembered. It is their first album on Elektra Records, and the first album not to feature any songs where Dave Mustaine was giving a writing credit. Of course, Dave was kicked out right before they made Kill 'Em All, their first album, but because he had contributed to writing songs, you found his contributions on Kill 'Em All and their second album, Ride the Lightning. So now it's just the four of them writing the songs with Flemming Rasmussen at the controls in the producer's seat, making an album that's incredibly heavy and incredibly influential. The title track, it's epic. It's huge. You've seen it in movies. You've seen it on Stranger Things. But if you haven't seen it live, you haven't seen it yet. Battery, maybe the greatest opener of a heavy metal album ever, although I am still partial to Neon Nights on Black Sabbath's Heaven and Hell, but it kicks it off so well. You've got an instrumental on there, as Metallica was keen to do in Orion. Sanitarium, Welcome Home, always a crowd favorite. It's an amazing album. It's very, very heavy. The cover is cool as hell. And they got the attention of Sharon and Ozzy Osbourne, who had the boys open for them for 5 months during his own Ultimate Sin tour, which we covered last week. And you know, we have several shows in Metallica. We've seen them live. I saw them kick off their No Repeat Weekend tour in Amsterdam, 2 shows from that. Jackson and I saw them together in Nashville last year, got a couple shows out of that. And we've reviewed the Black Album, Kill 'Em All, and Ride the Lightning. So this is our 4th album review for Metallica. And I would say it's overdue, but it's turning 40, so let's just say it's right on time. But before we get into that, we do have a little bit of business to take care of. We do love to mention that we are proud members of the Pantheon Podcast Network, a family of over 100 different shows. You can learn more at pantheonpodcast.com or follow on socials at Pantheon Pods. And you know we love to give shout-outs to our worldwide intergalactic sponsor, RareVinyl.com, who's based in the UK, folks, but they ship all over the world and they procure collections from all over the world. And yes, they do have some killer Metallica stuff, whether it's programs, whether it's picture discs, whether it's rare imports from different countries, first editions, tour programs, magazines with their pictures on it, box sets that are hard to find, rare stuff from displays in record stores. Whatever it may be you're looking for, you can find it at rarevinyl.com. And the best part is they've given us a code, UGLY, so when you go to checkout, you can save 10% off one entire order. Not just one item or the biggest or the smallest item, but everything in your basket. So go buy it all. Go buy everything your heart desires. Use the code UGLY and save 10%. Your record collection will thank you. Now back to Metallica. As you'll find out during the show, we didn't know Metallica in 1986. We were suburban boys. We thought Def Leppard was great. We still liked the Police. We were on the verge of discovering Led Zeppelin as teenagers. It hadn't happened yet, but it was coming. So while this album was unknown to us at the time, and to a lot of the world, as they didn't make videos, they didn't put out singles, they didn't do a ton of interviews, at least not on national radio. Unless you were in the scene, you didn't know who Metallica were. But they used that to build, to become the biggest rock band in the world. And this is one of the big building blocks, stepping stones, whatever you want to call it, the foundations of thrash metal is Master of Puppets. So let's get into it. We're talking about Metallica's Master of Puppets as it turns 40, here on The Wolf. All right, so let's discuss an album that's, pretty important, pretty influential in the metal and hard rock scene, but not one we were aware of when it came out.
Certainly not.
Yeah, that's Metallica's Master of Puppets. Brilliant album, brilliant thrash metal album. The last to feature Cliff Burton, of course, which we'll talk about a little bit towards the end. But, I think we've discussed this before. I didn't know Metallica existed because they never did videos, and they didn't release a lot of singles until they did one, which was all over MTV, and then I think there was a couple different versions of the video, and you could hear it on the radio as well. Mm-hmm. But before that, they kind of refused to do videos, because, we're not Duran Duran, we're not doing that stuff. Plus, they didn't really have the money, I'm sure, to make a video. But then, they also didn't do a whole lot of singles either. Mm. This comes out March 3rd of 1986, and they don't release Master of Puppets as a single till July of 1986. So it's not there's any priming the pump or whatever. It's okay, we're going to do this single and then this and then this. They finally just did, okay, fine, we'll do a single. We'll do Master of Back with Sanitarium, which is, it's an incredibly long single. It's 8.5 minutes long. So there's not a surprise why it wasn't played on most radio stations, not to mention it's heavy as snot. But yeah, for us, there's one, and then there's the Black Album. And then it's okay, well, what other great stuff do they have? Well, they actually have a couple of really awesome albums. And you were into Ride the Lightning.
Correct.
When we lived together, but you weren't really into Master of Puppets.
That is a correct statement, yes. And I fell in love with Ride the Lightning even before the Black Album came out, because I said, this just sounds heavy as hell. Mm-hmm. I love it. I love all the tracks. This is my favorite Metallica record. None will equal it. And then you listen to this one and you say, well,
that's pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good. We're now, Ride the Lightning was 84. Now we're 2 more years into this. You've been playing as a band. You've been practicing your instruments. You've been practicing writing. You've got more money to spend on this now. This is just, I won't say I'd ever like it better, but I can tell that this is just a better record as far as the production, the playing, the composition, and it also going through this. You really see how everything changed after Cliff Burton died, not just because they were sad. That was the big reason, but what he brought to the table was something that they didn't ever have again. No offense to Jason.
No. That's true. You're right. He had this classical music training, and he could bring in melodies that weren't natural, I guess, for the guys, not exactly what they were looking for most of the time. And he puts that together, and he did help write some of this, which we'll kind of get into the breakdown. Basically, it was James and Lars got together and they started to write the basics of the music, and then they would bring it to the other guys. Okay, here's what we got. And then maybe someone adds something in, or, they kind of build it together. But you weren't the only one who recognized that Ride the Lightning was really special. There was a guy at Elektra Records, Michael Alago, who, after he heard Ride the Lightning, he's like, these guys have got something going on. So they went from being, like a Megaforce to going to Elektra, and they signed an 8-album deal in the fall of 84, which is a lot of albums. And they reissued Ride the Lightning, so it would kind of get a wider release. And, they began touring bigger venues and festivals, and they kind of left John Zazula, who had been their manager kind of, from the beginning, but they picked up with Cliff Bernstein and Peter Mensch of Q Prime, who were big big managers. They were managing Def Leppard, and they played Monsters of Rock at Castle Donington, in front of 70,000 people. So it's kind of like, okay, now this thrash metal, which is very underground because it's not on MTV and it's very, very heavy, and it's not about like what the LA Sunset Strip bands are singing about, partying and chicks and all that. It's about death and war and addiction and murder and violence, and not the happy stuff, right?
You were talking about writing the music. Can you imagine what an absolute dump that house was that they were living in?
No, I can't.
All it was sitting around, drinking beer, then having an idea, going out into the garage, playing at 9,000 decibels, and then going back in with just these dudes living there. It's the last time. And this floor has not seen 4,000 empty cans on it.
Oh, man. Yeah, no, and what do they played Day on the Green in San Francisco at some point. It's like a Bill Graham production or whatever. Turns out Metallica, they trash the dressing room because that's what we do, man. We trash dressing room. And then Bill Graham kind of had to pull James by the scruff of his neck and say, look, James, how would you feel if someone came to your house and trashed it like this? And James was like, dude, we do that every day. We don't even wait for the weekend. It's all the time. He realized at that point he may have had some growing up to do. It's not just about destroying everything and not giving a shit about anything. There's some things it's okay to give a shit about. I mean, you don't trash your instruments every night, right? So maybe think about that.
You were talking about not making videos, too. I was watching, they had a couple of interviews from around that time. And the look was an old, ratty leather jacket, a T-shirt with holes in it. I mean, they looked like they were homeless people. They didn't have any kind of, they had the metal look.
Right.
But I think they had one look. Like, it wasn't like, what jacket should I wear? I only have the one, so this one.
I got a pair of jeans. They don't have too many holes in them.
Right. I got one pair of shoes, and that's it. Let's go.
That's right. So that's Metallica, right? Just existing on the margins, making a reputation as a live band, getting the kids to trade tapes and spread the word organically versus just doing the big singles, going on MTV, going on Top of the Pops or whatever it would have been to spread the news there. But what's also interesting is that, Dave Mustaine, who would go on to form Megadeth, whose last Megadeth album hit #1, and we're happy for him here, he claims that he had co-written Leper Messiah. It was based on his song, The Hills Ran Red. Now, the band says, no, that's not true, but one section incorporated his ideas. So he didn't get credit on Leper Messiah.
But he's still hanging around.
Yeah, his ideas are still they're still using them to gel into new things. And he had been credited on both Kill 'Em All and Ride the Lightning.
Actually, Ride the Lightning's on that Megadeth record.
Well, that's right.
Yeah.
So there you go. And then 86, I feel like, was just a huge year for thrash because Metallica did Master and Slayer did Rain and Blood. And
Peace Cells came out.
Yeah, Megadeth did Peace Cells. He was buying. And then I think in 87, right afterward, Anthrax did Among the Living. So it's like now the big four of thrash have made their statements. Not just their rookie album, but some of the best thrash metal ever created right there. I love doing research for this kind of stuff. You say, well, look, I've listened to Master of Puppets many times. I've seen most all the songs live. What am I going to learn from this? Okay, huge bits of information in here. Because the band didn't like being in American studios, they didn't think they captured the sound quite right. They decided to go to Denmark and work with Flemming Rasmussen at Sweet Silence Studios. And it took them a long time. I mean, from September to December, they're working on this. You know, now, they can do that. Lars is home. He can speak language. He can help them get around and everything like that. They don't have kids. They don't have pets. They don't even have plants back home. They can just leave, for however long. What I didn't know was Lars was talking to Geddy Lee to produce the album.
I saw that and thought to myself, what would that have been like? The Geddy Lee produced Master of Puppets?
Yeah.
All right.
Interesting, and I guess they got pretty far down with it. But, I mean, Geddy was fairly busy at that time. And what did Power Windows come out in 85 or 86? Yeah. So, they were doing that. And then they, they had to do the tour. So I guess they never coordinated their schedules enough to make it happen.
So they didn't do anything with him. There was no.
No.
Okay.
Just talks.
Yeah.
Just talks.
I don't know how that would have worked because Geddy seems like a very soft, controlled kind of guy, and these
Right.
dudes were out of control at this time. I don't know how if he could have wrangled them.
Yeah, Getty might have like a couple glasses of wine at dinner, or maybe a couple beers at a ball game or something. He's not drinking vodka straight out of the bottle like the
There
members
was
of Alcoholica.
they show up at this some radio station right around this time.
Mm-hmm.
They get off the bus, they're sitting there, and they're going to take calls, or I don't know what they're going to do. But the woman, there's this, oh, okay, you guys sit over here, you sit over here. Do you want anything? And Kirk's like, do you have any tea? Tea? Oh, well, let me see. Okay, we'll come back. No, we have coffee. Nah, just beer then. And they literally just start drinking beer at whatever time this is in the morning. Nah, forget the coffee. We're fine. Yikes.
Yep,
Oh, and then
that's
smoking too you got an ashtray in this little 8x8 room where they're taking phone calls. We're gonna smoke cigarettes also.
that's great for the equipment. What was interesting to me is that not only did Ulrich take some drum lessons, which, if you ask McWall, was completely necessary. But yeah, Kirk worked with Joe Satriani, another San Francisco guy, to learn how to record more efficiently. And I thought, well, that's, they're actually doing some what I would call professional development.
Yeah.
Let's not just go up there and say we're awesome. Let's get better at what we're doing. So you got to give him some credit for that.
Yeah, to hone the craft. And you were talking about going to Denmark. I think it was financial too. There was a lot. The amount of money you could spend got you farther, way farther in Denmark than it did in the United States. And I think there was I don't remember what the name of it was, but there was some recording studio they wanted to use that was booked. And they were like, okay, forget this. Let's just go back to what we're comfortable with in Denmark. Because this is where they recorded Ride the Lightning, correct?
I think that's right.
Yeah, I think it is too. And I think the producer was the same also. So that's a little easier to get into if he's already worked with them. Fleming,
Yep,
I believe.
It was, yes.
Yeah.
Fleming and Rasmussen, and yes, it was recorded at Sweet Silence in
There we
Copenhagen.
go. Yes.
And the thing is, afterwards, they did get to go tour with Ozzy, 5-month American tour in support of Ozzy, which would, of course, been on the Ultimate Sin record.
That's correct. Yes.
How great, in retrospect, now,
Right.
would it have been to see Metallica on the Master Puppets tour?
Yeah.
With the stage that had the crosses, graves,
everything. Yeah.
with the puppet, strings on it. That would have been amazing. Then after, you could see Ozzy with Jakey Lee. Now, we'd have been 12, 13 during that thing.
But we
weren't ready for it.
No,
we weren't ready for it.
No, but that's one thing that James always said he was appreciative with Ozzy, that Ozzy let them take all that stuff with them. It was a kind of a headlining tour for them because it wasn't just 3 feet in the front of the stage. They could bring all their stuff and really expand out there. And I think a couple people have said that about Ozzy. Like, he was just incredibly gracious as far as not like, yeah, you can come, but no, I want to show you how to do this, how to play in front of these big crowds. So kudos to Ozzy. And we still miss you.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Crazy. And then, the cover, man, is so imagistic. It's heavy duty, but it's amazing. You got all those cross graves, just like you would in a military cemetery or something like that. You've got all of them, and then there's the puppet strings connected to all of them with these big red hands above the Metallica logo and the red and yellow sky. It's heavy.
Yeah, it's very intense when you look at it, and then you've got like the soldier helmet on one side that you kind of don't see at first, and a dog tag, and yeah, it's just there's a lot more going on here than on the Ride the Lightning cover.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very striking the first time you see it, and it just looks like it gives you a little intro to what you're going to hear on this record.
Absolutely true. And look at Leper Messiah, Disposable Heroes. These names kind of support the artwork, that's for sure. I guess that they were supposed to mix the tapes with Fleming.
Okay.
But instead, they sent him to Michael Wagner, who finished the album's mixes. He's from Hamburg, and I guess, he had worked with Accept quite a bit, and Alice Cooper, and lots of bands we know, Dokken, Halloween, King's X, Megadeth, did Ozzy's No More Tears, Skid Row, Wasp, White Lion. So he's like the big mixer for hard rock and heavy metal bands in the 80s for sure. Okay. By the way, the cover was painted by Don Brautigam, was his name. Mm-hmm. But Metallica, the boys, and Peter Mensch came up with the design of it, and then they took it to create a stage that had those on it as well, which is pretty amazing. The original artwork by Brautigam sold in New York City for $28,000 in 2008. I feel like that's a pretty good deal, to be honest with you. I bet it's a lot more now, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I would have thought there was another zero at least on there. But yeah, could you imagine that, having that? Oh, cool. Do you got a print? No. This is the original artwork. The
original. Yeah.
That's awesome. And I would have liked to have been there when they saw that too for the first time, because you said you gave them the concept, this is what it's going to look like, but to see it for the first time, oh, that's so cool.
I wonder what some of like Hugh Symes' originals, like the ones he has in his house. I wonder what some of those would go for.
A lot more than 28,000, I would think. Yeah, that's
in this day and age. Yeah,
right.
Not to mention Rush fans have a lot of money.
Correct, and they're fanatic. So yeah.
So that's a story for another day. We love good artwork, and this absolutely helps tell the story of the album. Get you ready for what you're about to hear. It's classic. It's awesome, no doubt. But of course, at the end of this tour, it became the end of the tour. Right. They decided not to put out a lot of singles. They decided not to do a video. They said they'd rather just spend the money on tour because it's fun to be on tour. I mean, being at home sucks. It's fun to get out there and be on tour. You can meet all sorts of girls. And they just kind of had this reputation for winning over crowds. If you came to see Metallica, even if you came to see Ozzy, and you're like, yeah, whoever these guys are first, the first song you're sitting in the back drinking a beer like whatever. And by the third song, you're listening intently. And by the end, you're a Metallica fan. Mm-hmm. And they're winning fans all over the world through their live shows. Like, yeah, let's go do these live shows. Let's go win the fans over. Of course, Cliff died at a nasty bus accident on Black Ice that the band claimed was not there because James went out looking for the Black Ice. Like, where is this Black Ice? I don't see this Black Ice. He thought he was drinking. He was tried for the death of Cliff Burton, but he was, I don't know if exonerated was the right word, but acquitted is the right word. Yeah.
Yeah. Wasn't there like James was walking in the snow, like with no shoes on or something, trying to find this ice. They were all just despondent. And I saw something about that. And I've seen that a couple of dozen times, behind the music and everything else. But so not only did your friend die, not from anything stupid, it wasn't an overdose, he wasn't drunk driving, he was on tour. Like, I mean, Kirk said he saw the body crushed by the bus. Like, to see that, it's just, you're dead asleep and all of a sudden this horrendous thing happens. You wake up and, I mean, do you ever get over that? Like, just that, seeing that, oh my God.
I don't know. Yeah. And for Kirk, if I had been Kirk, it probably would have wrecked me pretty good for a while because basically they had a shitty bus. Mm-hmm. They decided to draw cards to see who gets the best bunk because Kirk had a good bunk or whatever. Yeah. Cliff draws the ace of spades. And he looks at Kirk and says, I want your bunk because, it was warmer, it was more comfortable, or it was up top and you didn't have to be, whatever it was. And Kirk's like, yeah, fine, it's probably better anyway. I don't care. They hit this ice, they slip, the bus falls over. I don't know if Cliff goes out the window and the bus comes on top of him is what the story is.
Out. And I think it was only, like what you're talking about, I think it was only like a day or two later. Like, it was really close to that switch.
Interesting. So but they're in Sweden. They're on these, icy roads or whatever. The worst part is they had to get a crane out to come pick the thing up so they could get him out from under. So they get the crane on it. They pull it up and he's got his arm out or whatever. They know it's him. Maybe he's alive. Maybe he isn't. And then the crane drops the bus back on top of him. And then there's no hope after
Well, now
that.
He's definitely not there. Yeah.
And so they're all crying and drinking their way through this. It's pretty tough. Obviously, they come back and they kind of have to regroup. And they weren't very nice to the bass players who auditioned. They weren't very nice to the bass player they actually put in the band afterwards. But that's what's coming. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's what's coming after this. This great triumph, this killer album that's become influential to so many. You think that would have been an amazing, triumphant, happy tour, right? Not so much. And it's sad. It's a waste, especially like you say, it wasn't from OD and it wasn't from drinking and driving. It was from
It was just an accident.
a crazy accident,
That could have been any one of those guys or all of them. And so how do you, especially right after it? I mean, if you have time to process it and, have therapy and whatever, but like, I mean, what do you do after that? All right, well, I guess we're going home. Like,
Yeah.
Okay, now what do I do?
Just drink your way out of it. You
That's
can't
exactly
be
what
sad.
happened.
That's
Yeah.
for pussies, man.
Right.
You got to be tough,
Yeah. It's all right. It's fine.
Yeah, nothing bothers us.
Yeah.
We're heavy metal, man. We're cool as hell. Yeah, whatever. The reason you got into this is because you're hurt from something.
Right.
Hey, it's Brian Slagle. I'm the CEO of Metal Blade Records, and you're listening to the Ugly American Werewolf in London.
Why don't we get into the album here?
I mean, I guess. Okay.
Battery. Okay, so it's about 55 minutes, and it's 8 songs.
Mm-hmm.
So it's long as hell for something that only has 8 songs on it. The fact of the matter is Metallica may be heavy metal guys and love stuff like Deep Purple and Iron Maiden and things like that, but they're also kind of proggy with their time switches and changing of the thing and then making it longer and not just singing about the stuff that the guys in the Sunset Strip sing about. They're talking about heavy stuff. They're proggier than they probably would admit to.
Yeah, and I think that's what adds to the charm of this also, is it's not just the same chord in your face for, 3.5 minutes. They change these things up. There's a bridge, there's an instrumental part that nobody else was doing. Mm-hmm. And you were mentioning, you've got basically the big four. You've got Megadeth, Anthrax, and Slayer. I think these guys did the best job of putting this together in a package that not just thrash guys wanted to listen to. Like some of that other stuff is brutal to listen to. Like it's awesome, but it's like after a while, like I can't take this anymore. This, you got a little bit of fast, you got a little bit of slow, you can follow the lyrics. James's vocals are unique. Let's put it that way. I saw something about how he knew that, like, he's like, I'm never going to sing like Dio, or he mentioned Jeff Tate at that point in time. But what I can do is make my voice part of the song and have it fit in, as best as possible. He's not going to be this crooner with over the top stuff, but he can make it fit in the best that is possible.
Yeah, he can deliver it, and I think he, on this record, more than the first two, certainly. He's singing aggressively, certainly, but he is singing. He's not shouting.
Correct.
He's using his voice a lot better than he ever did before, so he's they're growing up, at least professionally they are. And the first track, Battery, which is just a Lars and James write, it's the shortest on the album, but it is to the point, and it is an amazing way to start the album. But before we get into Battery, I just want to say
please,
that's similar to the way Black Sabbath tracked Heaven and Hell, and then Mob Rules was basically tracked the exact same way. Master of Puppets is kind of the same tracking as Ride the Lightning. You start off with a blazer. The second song is a very long title track. There's a instrumental on there. So it's kind of tracked about the same way. They kind of like ran it back. Say, okay, same studio, same producer. Let's go ahead and line it all up the same way again. I got to say that it works.
Yeah, it doesn't sound the same. Like you wouldn't listen to this thinking, hey, wait a minute, this is the same thing. So I would imagine that they just liked the way that it flowed and decided to do it again. Let's see, so Ride the Lightning is 47:26, and this is, I think it's like
54 something.
Yeah. So it's about 54:52. And then
it's like 7 or 8 minutes longer. And
then
Justice for All was over an hour, and it's just brutal. It was also 8 songs, if I'm not mistaken.
Let's see. I'm pretty sure you're correct. Yeah, it is 9 songs altogether. Okay. And total 65:25.
Crazy. So long and so brutal, too.
Yeah.
And the real metalheads love that one. Probably because they just hate the Black Album so much. But anyway, we're focusing on Master Puppets coming in with Battery.
So they kind of get you there at the beginning. That little acoustic part. And then they just punch you right in the face.
Oh, man. such a heavy song. I guess the lyrics are kind of talking about control of anger over your own self, over your own behavior. Cannot kill the family. Battery is found in me.
Okay.
What do you think about this one?
Well, and that's what I thought too. Like, and there's definitely, like beating something, aggression, but then also he talks about, where is it? It's down almost at the end. We create the battery. So it's also part of like I think they were talking about the crowd, like this energy that's created in this show and how it fuels them. They fuel the crowd fuels the band. So I think that's part of it too. It's just this energy that people have that makes you want to go out and just smash the hell out of everything. But it's where they were too, as these angry dudes who they didn't really fit in anywhere.
Yeah.
They didn't like you're talking about musical influences before. They loved all these obscure new wave of British heavy metal that would become big, but weren't in the early 80s, not yet anyway. And so, yeah, they were always kind of these outsiders. And this is definitely a track for people who didn't gravitate toward anything else. This was their music.
It is heavy. It is in your face. Yeah, and I mean the guitars are. I mean they're distorted, but they're not just typical metal. I mean they're doing something that was different for the time. I guess James kind of improvised the riff while he was chilling out in London during part of the tour or something like that. But heavy duty song. I've always loved this song. Anytime they play it, yep, I'm up. I mean, you're kind of up the whole time at a Metallica show, but I don't love every song, but Battery, definitely one that I love.
Yeah, and it's cool too because again, it starts slow, so you know what it is, and you're kind of getting ready. Like some of the other ones, like they just go from the beginning, but this is like, oh, here it comes, and then you kind of have the cymbals, and then boom. There's a line here: crushing all deceivers, mashing non-believers. That's the same. Either get on this train or get out of the way.
Lashing out the action, returning the reaction. Weak are ripped and torn away. Hypnotizing power, crushing all that cower. Battery is here to stay. Heavy duty. Hungry, violent seeker, feeding off the weaker, breeding on insanity. Smashing through the boundaries, lunacy has found me. Can I set the battery? Oh, man. Heavy duty. Love it. Absolutely love it. Great way to start an album. One of the best album song one, side ones going. As far as setting the tone for the album and getting you psyched for what you're about to hear.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like you say, some of them just start right into it. Track 2, title track, Master of Puppets. There's no disguising. And you're off and running for 8.5 minutes of blistering metal. I guess it says it shares a similar song structure to the Four Horsemen, which is one of my very, very favorite Metallica songs, because there's 2 verse chorus sets, then you lead to a lengthy interlude. I wouldn't really call it a bridge, because it's kind of this different part almost. Yeah. And then there's another verse chorus set at the end. And they have some incredible information on here, like, it's your down-picked chromatic riffing at 212 beats per minute in mostly 4/4 time. Okay, I never would have come up with that on my own, Every 4th bar of each verse and the outro is cut short by more than a beat, so it's like 5/8 time, but it's performed with a delay after the 3rd beat, making it closer to 21/32 time. Okay, you got to be kidding me. I don't think they knew this. I knew they thought they were doing something cool, but like, do you think we should do 21/32 time? Well, what if we did 23? No, they're just riffing and having fun.
This sounds awesome. Just do it like this.
Yeah, exactly. It becomes more distorted and more heavy, and Hammett's got a killer solo before, you come back to the main verse. I mean, it's huge.
Just call my name 'cause all you scream. Master, just call my name 'cause all you scream. Master.
guess we always assumed it was about alcohol because it's, they were alcoholic. It was amazing how much they would drink on tour.
Yeah.
The reason they kicked Dave out is because when they would get drunk, they'd be happy and silly and do dumb stuff. But when Dave would get drunk, he would get angry. He would just remember how shitty his childhood was, and he'd want to fight and be an asshole. And that's basically why they kicked him out of the band. But I mean, I guess the theme is about cocaine addiction and drug addiction. I haven't heard many stories about them even using cocaine, let alone using it to excess.
I would agree with you on that. However, I would say that if you were around the music business in this time, you saw it a lot. Like that.
I'm sure they tried it.
It's now I can't remember who it was, but somebody was saying about this time. Maybe it was when we were talking about the ultimate sin. It was not that big of a deal to just see vials of cocaine on the mixing board. Like it was everywhere, and everybody wanted to do it. You figure if you could get a couple more hours out of these dudes in the studio, So I imagine that if they were not really into it, they saw it everywhere. And just people going down that path. And where was it? I've never picked up on this line until we were doing this research. Chop your breakfast on a mirror is one of the lines. Like, yep, that's what we do. You get up first thing in the morning, you have a little bump, and you start your day.
Taste me, you'll see. More is all you need. Worst drug there is. You can say heroin's worse, but heroin, if you were like injured in war, you take a little heroin, that could take some of the pain away for a while. We might want to dumb it down a little bit. Let's not make it too sharp. But all cocaine does is make you want to take more of it. It's a terrible, terrible drug.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, that's more is all you'll need. Taste me, you will see. More is all you need. That's what it is. It's going to get you. There's nobody that ever said, I just every once in a while. No,
twisting your mind, smashing your dreams, blinded by me, you can't see a thing. Just calls my name because I'll hear you scream. Yeah. It's great. I mean, your life burns faster. Obey your master. Love it. God, it's so great live, too.
Yes. Bum, 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 bum. The fact that he can still play that. And it's coming up on a year now, but I mean, we saw him play this live. I can't believe a guy can move his hand like that. I know he's got to grip the pick with 3 fingers because it's so aggressive that it would just come flying out.
Yeah.
If not, but it just looks like it's no big deal to him too. Like he's just standing there smiling, playing this riff. I do want to give credit to, I don't remember what his name is, but the guy in Stranger Things, the
Eddie
actor that played Eddie, he did learn how to play it, so it looks pretty good when you see it in the show.
Yeah, and I saw a video of him. Eventually, he got to hang out with Metallica and play it with them like backstage or whatever. Right. They're all smiling like, "Hey, this dude, learned the song."
You're really learning it. It's not just your hand isn't there. Like, come on, you're not. There's no way you're really playing that. So I thought that was cool. They signed his guitar. And that's awesome.
Yeah, it is. And now, maybe Dave Mustaine didn't help write this song, but he says that Lars started to write the riff while he was still in the band. So it's something that had been around a little bit. They just hadn't quite fleshed it out before. Yeah, it's back with Sanitarium. Welcome Home, I should say. A riff from David Bowie's song Andy Warhol is quoted in Master Puppets. I had no idea about that. I'm not a big Bowie fan, so I didn't realize that. But Cliff and Kirk were big Bowie fans. I was going to say James and Lars, not so much. I can see Cliff and Kirk, but not not for those guys. But I mean, look, this is generally regarded as about their best song ever. Martin Popup's book, The Top 500 Heavy Metal Songs of All Time, ranks it 2, our buddy Martin. VH1 put it at 3, greatest metal song. Loudwire, number 1, Metallica songs. Rolling Stone, number 2, best Metallica songs. Metal Hammer, number 1, best Metallica songs. Kerrang, number 2, best Metallica songs. Revolver, number 1. Entertainment Weekly, unranked in the 15th best Metallica songs. That's because Entertainment Weekly's for women and housewives. That's not a metal magazine.
Why they're even weighing in on this, I don't know.
No, but I mean, I loved it, of course, in old school when they formed a fraternity, then they just go out and start picking up the pledges and throwing them in the back of the van. Then they get to the old guy like, okay, here you go. Come on. That's it. Here we go. Let's get you in there. But you're right. The Eddie thing, Eddie Munson was the character, and the actor was Joseph Quinn.
Okay.
In Stranger Things. I think it was the same season as the Kate Bush's Running Up That Hill, which completely changed Kate Bush's fortune. Like billion streams, and, her records started selling again. It was like completely crazy. But having this in Stranger Things completely catapulted it back up the charts. Like, it did not chart back in 1986, really at all. And it gets to number 5 in the U.S. on Hot Rock and Alternative, 35 on Billboard, number 1 UK rock and metal, and 22 on UK singles. It charted all over the world. And, now they have, streaming certifications, triple platinum US, platinum UK, platinum and gold and triple platinum around the world from streaming, basically in the last several years, just because of Stranger Things. So being in a hugely popular show like that can really do you a power of good.
Yeah, I think that I don't know if it turned people on to Metallica. There can't be anybody that has never heard of them before, but I think it just reminds people, oh yeah, that song's awesome. I think I want to listen to it 1,000 times now.
That's right, yes. All right, moving on.
Yes.
To the thing that should not be. Inspired by famed horror writer H.P. Lovecraft.
Now, this was Cliff Burton's deal, right? He was the big Lovecraft fan.
Yeah, and the Cthulhu stories and all that kind of stuff. He loved that stuff. Is this the heaviest song on the album?
I think so. And even though it's not very, for them, it's not very fast. It's it's just like you're getting hit with a sledgehammer.
Yeah, it's a little more Sabbathy, I would say.
Yeah.
Than your kind of typical Metallica stuff. I mean, Metallica's tuned down for sure, but it's not super distorted like Sabbath. Metallica's a little slicker and faster. By the way, this is something they wrote with Kirk, James, and Lars. Master of Puppets, all 4 get credit. But this is one that was, Kirk's influence was pretty heavy on it. I don't know. I when I was younger, I didn't love this one because I was trying to get to something I liked better.
Okay, so that's the problem too.
Like
so
Welcome Home.
Right, yeah. You've got Battery, Master of Puppets, then this one, then you go to Sanitarium, Welcome Home, Sanitarium. So yeah, it's kind of like, I want to get to the other one.
The first, those 3, Battery, Master of Puppets, Sanitarium, were my 3 kind of introductions to this album back in the day or whatever. In my opinion, they're my favorite 3 songs off it. Well, I don't know. I do like Orion, but that's an instrumental. So, I mean, it's not that the thing that should not be is a bad song, and it's very, very heavy, but compared to the other slower. 3, it's just, I mean, look, it's a game changer. Like you said, the 3rd track is, first one, you set the tone. Second one, you take it up a notch. Third one, okay, you kind of got to change up the pace a little bit here, and I think they successfully do that, and it's a great Metallica song, but I mean, it's just compared to the other 3 songs on the first side, I might actually skip it, and just because, look, it's Metallica, it's a long song, it's 6.5 minutes, so do you really want to wait through 6.5 minutes of something you don't really like, because you want to get to the next song, which is also 6.5 minutes.
Yeah, it doesn't really change either. Like it's the same it's the same cadence, it's the same time signature and everything. So it's not so that way it could feel a little longer than other songs where you've got to change up.
Right. Yeah. No, that's a good call there. That's probably what it is. So like to super metalheads, yes, it's very, very heavy.
It's a good song. It's just unfortunately sandwiched between other stuff you want to hear.
Yeah, and I mean, hybrid children watch the sea, pray for father roaming free, crawling chaos underground, cult has summoned, twisted sound, out from ruins once possessed, fallen city, living death. They've got some great Metallica lyrics on here, that's for sure. Drain you of your sanity, face the thing that should not be. He
wakens, interrupt the shadows is rising.
Heavy as hell, but I'd like Sanitarium. I think every Metallica fan likes Sanitarium, and it's a little bit based on Welcomes to the Cuckoo's Nest, I guess. But it could be for anybody who they've given electric shock treatment to or had to lock away.
Mm-hmm.
It's about insanity. Somebody said it's their best. It's the best lyrics dealing with insanity. I'm like, well, how many songs have they written that deal with insanity?
In the great litany of insanity-based songs, this is the best.
Or the most revealing, I guess. It's not just
Okay.
like, oh, he's crazy and he's losing it. This is like going step by step how it happens.
Yeah, and it's also like written from the, I guess, Jack Nicholson perspective. Like, you're the person in this deal.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, when you're, I mean, what are these guys in their early 20s now?
Yeah.
That's a subject that's kind of hits close to home. Like, what, you know, sometimes you feel like you're crazy doing stuff, the
Yeah.
thoughts that you have. You know, what if I end up in a mental institution someday? What if somebody comes and says, you know, through no fault of my own, they say, well, this guy's nuts. We're going to put him in there. I can't imagine anything worse than ending up like this, knowing you're not really that far gone, but you're here surrounded by people who are way worse than you are.
Yeah, you know, and it's so evil when you hear, I'm going to have to read it just to make sure I get the lines exactly right. Keep him tied. It makes him well. He's getting better. Can't you tell? Like, it's so, and meanwhile, he's in hell and he's not in control of his body. He's not in control of what he does every day. They've got him pumped full of drugs and they're like, oh no, this is helping him. Can't you see? It's helping him. Meanwhile, he's just dying and losing his mind inside, you know, and just horrible.
Yeah, so what do you got? Whisper things into my brain, assuring me that I'm insane.
Yeah, exactly.
Keep him tight, it makes him well. He's getting better, can't you tell? No more can they keep us in. Listen, damn it, we will win. They see it's right, they see it well, but they think this saves us from our
So they did this on this tour. They only did 8 or 9 songs while they're opening for Ozzy on this tour, and they would go and play. But they open with Battery, as one should. They do Master of Puppets. Then they do Bells. Then they do Sanitarium. They end with Damage Inc. So it was those 4 that they took on the road. And then they will also do Bells, Creeping Death, Seek and Destroy, Am I Evil? They might throw in
Fade to Black.
Sleep, my friend, and you will see that dream is my reality. They keep me locked up in this cage. Can they see that's why my brain says rage? Sanitarium. Just leave me alone. And then live they go, leave me the fuck alone. When they get into the middle of it.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the way that they speed up and slow these things down is phenomenal. And then it just builds, and then you got the solo on top of it, and it's just awesome.
It's so awesome. This is sick solo. This is the song that they've played second most off this album over the years, after, of course,
Master.
the title track. Yeah. What was interesting was like I mentioned, they played this, Master, Battery, and Damage Inc. And then, except for maybe Master and this one, they dropped those songs for years. And then they came back to do them in like 97 and 98. And now, of course, they kind of do it whenever they have to. But I love it. And then that's the way you wind up side 1. Now, I've only ever had it on CD here, but yeah, this is a heck of a way to wind up side 1 and get you ready for side 2. Now, side 2 starts with Disposable Heroes, which Robert Trujillo says has got to be one of my very favorite Metallica songs ever. Anytime I can hear that particular song, count me in. So he likes to play it. Title is taken from the book Fahrenheit 451. What do you think about Disposable Heroes?
It's brutal. You
It's
think
so
you've heard
long.
fast? You haven't seen this. This is even faster than what they've been doing previously.
Yeah.
And it's you say Fahrenheit 451. I saw a deal where James was talking about he saw I don't know if it was like NFL Films or something. But it was, they used that line in that, and just that thinking about how, you know, you go out there, you give it everything, and then you beat the hell out of yourself to play this game, and then when you're done, they're like, oh yeah, okay, forget it. They just throw you away. There's somebody else that'll do this, and it's the war thing too. Of they're just stacking bodies on top of this.
Yeah.
This is it is a little long, but I have to say, after doing the research for this show, I like this song a lot better now.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it's fast, it's nasty, and that you will die when I say. I mean, that's a cool, anthem for fist pumping in the arena too.
When I say back to the front.
Yeah.
Yeah. Soldier boy made of clay, now an empty shell. 21 only son, but he served us well. Bred to kill, not to care. Do just as we say. Finished here? Greetings, death. He's yours to take away. So it's like, yeah, we got you, son. We're ready to go. Here you go. Get in there. Dead. Yeah, okay. Ship him back to his folks. Right. Let's get somebody else in there. No, it's obviously heavy duty, and I've always liked the back to the front.
Yeah.
You will do what I say, but it is long.
Where are we now? This is 8:17. Okay, other than Master of Puppets, this is the longest song, and there is no middle instrumental part in this deal. It's just punching you in the face at, what did they say? It was 220 beats a minute the entire time.
Just, yeah. Why am I dying? Kill. Have no fear. Lie. Live off lying. Hell is here. I was born for dying. Man. Year after year. I mean, we kind of talked about on Ozzy how, thank God for the bomb, because of this mutually assured destruction, there's been a lot more, even though we've seen war all the time, there's been less like major ground wars and stuff like that. But still, forever, they send young men in to die for no good reason, really, other than money, power, ego, whatever you want to call it. Life planned out before my birth, nothing I could say, had no chance to see myself molded day by day. Looking back, I realized nothing have I done. Left to die with only friend. Alone, I clench my gun. Heavy. And, it kind of continues on with one, in that this is you in the war. One is you after the war, all just blown to hell. Mm-hmm. It's kind of a cross between Welcome Home and Disposable Heroes is one, to be honest with you. As far as the story goes.
Yeah. I was thinking about that too. Yeah, how they went together. And I mean, again, so what is this, 86? Vietnam was not that long ago. You're in that age range of, if anything happens again, you can get called up.
You're going, yeah.
Right, correct. Yeah, that's very scary in that part of your life, and for nothing really. Like, what do we really accomplish? I'm going to go there, I'm going to get killed, and then no one's going to care.
Yep.
Or even worse, you come home and you're all beat to hell, and it's like, there's really nothing we can do for you. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, though.
People call you a baby killer. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Sweet.
Thanks. Kirk helped write that one with him. Those three in a row were James, Lars, and Kirk writing together. And look, they're still killer Metallica songs that they play to this day. And next up's Leper Messiah. Mm-hmm. What did you think about Leper Messiah back then? And then what do you think about it today?
I remember thinking to myself, this was not my favorite track. Like, this was definitely a skip back in the day, but to get to the next one. But it's interesting how the kind of the content and the lyrics of this thing, we're still doing this today, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. I guess James would stay up late at the Metallica mansion and just drink beer, and the only thing on late at night was evangelism stuff. Mm-hmm. And he was very religious growing up, or he grew up in a very religious house.
He was Christian Scientist.
Yeah. So that was, so I kind of think he always had this chip on his shoulder, and this is not doing anything for him as far as dissuading him from not really liking religion, because all it is, send me money and you'll be closer to God. But unlike the other reference, Leper Messiah definitely comes from Ziggy Stardust.
Oh, is that right?
Correct.
Oh, no, that's right. Yeah, I did read that. Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, that whole thing of, just these dirtbags begging for money from poor Old people. Yeah, it's just, it's like I said, unfortunately, we're still doing this today. But this was never my favorite song, only because there's so much other good stuff on this record.
Yeah, I agree with you too. And yeah, it's about televangelism, which I really don't care about. It's like, if you can fall for that, you can fall for anything.
Right.
But the thing is, as a Christian Scientist, he had to leave health class in high school because I guess I don't know a whole lot about this religion, but it's that your body's, this is just a shell. Whatever's inside, your soul's what's important, all that other stuff. It's not for you to worry about. You're not supposed to go in there and figure it out. That's for God. So when he has to get up, James, you need to leave, as we talk health, they're snickering like, he doesn't even believe in medicine, and it comes back on the God that failed, because his mom got cancer. And she's like, no, I'll just pray for it. He's like, how about you pray and you go to the hospital, and you see the doctor? No, that's not what we were taught. I'm like, okay, well, that doesn't make any sense.
Right. And then so when your mom dies, what do they say? Well, that's just what God wanted. Okay, well, that's great, but now I've got nothing here.
Yeah, are you saying God didn't help any of the doctors who could have helped her? Right. I mean, none of them feel the love of God. You got to be kidding me. So that's James fighting back, and that was her choice. But he lost his mom, Time for lust, time for lie. Time to kiss your life goodbye. Send me money, send me green. Heaven you will meet. Make a contribution and you'll get a better seat. Bow to Leper Messiah.
Spineless from the start, sucked into the pot. Circus comes to town. You play the lead clown. Place, spreading his disease, living by his story. Knees, falling to your knees, suffer for his glory. You will.
Marvel at his tricks, need your Sunday fix. Blind devotion came, rotting your brain. Join the endless chain, taken by his glamour. Fame, infection is the game. Stinking drunk with power, we see. Great. And at the end, it's just lie. Because, televangelism isn't evangelism. And evangelism isn't even necessarily spiritualism or even Christianity. It's just
making money.
Someone taking your money on TV.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm just looking, because probably the biggest one was Jimmy Swaggart. That was 1988. But yeah, it was around that time too when these guys started. The curtain started to get pulled back. These were really just scumbags.
Jim and Tammy Faye.
Correct. Yeah, all of this being exposed. And I think you said you weren't a big fan of Miracle Man from Ozzy.
Ozzy, yeah.
But that's about. I think that's about Jimmy Swaggart getting caught, even though he was personally saying Ozzy was a piece of garbage and was, oh, me? What about interesting?
Well,
I'm a family man. You're you're the one that's a piece of trash.
Exactly.
So yeah, that whole thing about how, it's just you're purporting to be this person that you're not, and it's just a money grab.
It's all a facade. Yeah, exactly. Now, well, I don't like Miracle Man because they put Miracle Man in the place of Shot in the Dark on Greatest Hits.
Well,
album. That's not even close to a good song next to Shot in the Dark. Not even close.
Hi, my name is Renee Richardson from the Metallica Report, and you're listening to The Ugly American Werewolf in London. Did I get that right?
But
yes,
that was a James and Lars right, whereas Orion, the instrumental, is James Lawrence and Cliff.
Correct.
And I love Orion. I always have, man.
Yeah, so here's the thing.
Yeah.
As I mentioned at the beginning of the show, my first love will always be Ride the Lightning, but this might be better than Call of Cthulhu. But again, it's better. It's better writing. It's better composition. You got that cool part in the middle where it breaks down to nothing, and then Cliff comes in with boom, boom, boom. It's really good.
Yeah, and Cliff arranged all that middle section that's so cool. And it features his bass line, and then there's the guitar harmonies.
Wait a minute. Where's my note on this? Get over here. On the first date of the tour, of the band's tour to support their 11th studio album, 72 Seasons, they opened the show with a performance of Orion. You were there, right?
Yeah.
So
I was totally psyched.
To start the show, that must have been awesome.
The sun was coming through some of the and it was like golden hour sun, so it's coming through some of the windows. Plus there's all these amazing lights and orange lights anyway, and they kind of they play some warm-up song. Of course, obviously they play The Ecstasy of Gold,
Right.
and then it's and they get into Orion. I'm like, oh my god,
There's
this
a
is
start
a
with this?
killer way to start this, dude. This is so great. And like there's two solos from Burton on there on the bass. There's one from James, and then there's 3 from Kirk, so they're all just jamming all over the place on this one.
Unlike Disposable Heroes at 8:17, this is 8:28, but does not feel long at any part in this song.
It doesn't. No, I love this song. And when they opened in Amsterdam, I was freaking out. I'm like, oh my God, this is going to be so good. This is going to be so good. Dream Theater did it. I would love to hear what they did with it. That's kind of unbelievable. It too was all over a lot of those rankings that I was talking about, where Master Puppets basically number 1 or number 2 on all of them. But yeah, this was one that was Cliff was all over it, and actually they played this over speakers during his funeral.
Ooh.
And James had the notes from the bridge tattooed on his left arm to remember Cliff by. So yeah,
I think his dad still wears those rings, the skull rings. That's pretty
Mr.
cool.
Burton.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they call it Orion, I guess, because the spacey, sounding bridge part. It's, it's kind of out there a little bit.
Okay.
But so cool. Such an amazing. And I know some people don't like instrumentals. They're like, especially like an 8.5 minute one. Like, come on.
From a
gotta have
metal
something.
band, no, this should not work at all. This should be just atrocious, but it's not. It's actually, I would think there's a lot of people that would say this is the highlight of this record, because you get to hear him, you get to hear what he was doing, and it just doesn't sound like anything else on the record either.
No, it's kind of an amazing song, really. And again, this is me saying Metallica's actually kind of proggy. They might not have admitted it back then.
Yeah.
Like, we don't listen to Yes or Genesis, but Pink Floyd, to hell with them. But now this obviously shows it. It's just they're not using keyboards. They're using distortion and being tuned down, and some killer guitar work by both the guys, and the sickest bass in the world. Just really lost somebody special when we lost Cliff Burton.
Yeah, this really makes you think what the band would have been had he been alive still, where they would have gone, just to see him grow as a player and be part of this band for, I mean, everybody else is the same, right?
Right.
Since the beginning, they don't really change out members. So, I mean, barring anything weird, I would imagine that he'd still be there and playing with them. It was cool to see the 2 nights in Nashville. They did Cthulhu and then Orion the second night. No, they did Orion the first night. And anyway, to hear them both play live was phenomenal.
I thought it was great, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, they kind of like to bookend that. I mean, I feel like when I first saw them in Amsterdam, the first night they opened with Orion, an instrumental. The second night they opened with Cthulhu, an instrumental. So it's something they like to do. And the third to last song or something like that was with fire. So one's Fuel and one's,
Moth to Flame, I think.
Right,
was the other
exactly.
one. Yeah.
And it has them on the towers, kind of on fire. So they kind of have a rhythm to the shows every night, which makes sense, and they play the longer ones at certain points, and it had the same number of tracks, 16 and 16. So they know what they're doing. But no, Orion, I mean, it just shows that Cliff was more than just a metalhead, that he was developing as a composer and an instrumentalist, and was more than, he was kind of special. It was a real waste that we lost him.
Yeah, because James was saying something about even Fade to Black when they were putting that together. He's like, I don't know how to get from one part to another, this change. And Cliff kind of walked him through, okay, if we do this, that can bridge the two. Oh, okay, I would have never thought about that before, just to help in the composition.
Wow. Yeah, it's a waste. I mean, the people can be great musicians and great songwriters, even if it's not in a genre you like. when I saw Elton John talking about Nothing Else Matters on the Howard Stern show, saying this is one of the best songs ever written, and it blew James's mind. He started to like tear up and stuff like that. Did Elton John just say one of my songs, one of the best songs?
You could see Lars. He reaches over like grab, because I mean he's going to start bawling to have him say that. Like, this is the best song I've ever heard. Like, oh my god, yeah, that was awesome.
And he's like, they're not just a heavy metal band; they're a music band. They're one of the best that ever did it.
Yeah,
and and Lars, like, I can tell by my friend James' reaction. James shakes his head like, it doesn't matter to me. Still trying to pull off that after all the therapy. Still trying to pull off the I'm tough, nothing bothers me.
Oh, you like that song? Whatever. Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah, it's a pretty good one. I mean, I've written better, but whatever. If you like it, that's fine. No, it meant so much to him. And when they did Love Lies Bleeding at that was Elton
really
John
good.
thing, it was awesome. It was so good, dude. They ought to play that themselves. I mean, I know they've got their own songs to play, but it was Funeral for a Friend, Love Lies Bleeding was amazing. It was fantastic. And it just shows you they don't just do their own stuff. They're amazing musicians. They could do almost anything.
Yeah, I thought when they did the Freddie Mercury concert, they did Stone Cold. Well, James did Stone Cold Crazy. That was one of the big standouts to me, because just you could tell he loved the song. It fit him perfectly, and it's cool to hear a band play something that's not theirs. Also,
did they put that on Live Ship Binge and Purge?
What, Stone Cold Crazy?
Uh-huh.
I think that sounds about right.
Because I had those discs. I mean, I still do, but I haven't listened to them in a really long time. And I thought that was on there. I remember him being at that too, like being backstage. And let's face it, there aren't a lot of heavy metal heads at the Freddie Mercury tribute. There's a lot of pop people. Yeah. There's some rock people. There's a lot of gay people. And then there's this metalhead dressed in black who doesn't really know anybody. But I think Brian May was nice to him. He was like, hey, James, how you doing? And Brian just seems like a super guy. And James went out and delivered. That's for sure. All right, now we wrap it up with Damage Incorporated, better known as Damage Inc.
Right.
To the big fans. The bass chords at the beginning is very different, I feel like, than most anything else you hear.
Courtesy of, again, Mr. Cliff Burton.
That's right.
And it's based on, or he got the idea from Bach's Come Sweet Death. And I guess he was playing that for Kirk, and he's like, you think they're gonna figure this out? And he's like, Kirk's like, you're fine. No one's gonna put those two and two together. Right. No one that listens to this record, whatever. Is that Bach I hear? No, you're fine.
Yeah. No one's gonna point that out at the show. Yeah. It's basically about violence and reprisal at some kind of enemy, perceived or real.
Right. Yeah, I think it's also about, as was explained, touring, wrecking shit, and then leaving. That was just their lifestyle. Like, they just come into a town, beat the hell out of it, and then we're out. We're on to the next one.
Dying on your feet for honesty. Inbred of bodies work at fun. The evil never quits a mission. Following or reaching, not a trend. Go against the grain until the end. None will follow.
Yes. Dealing out the agony within, charging hard, and no one's gonna give in. Living on your knees, conformity, or dying on your feet for honesty. Heavy duty stuff.
and I love Damage Incorporated. Like that. You just kind of whisper that we just wrecked this place. Oh yes, courtesy of Damage Incorporated.
And they use the F word here, which earned them the PMRC sticker. Slamming through, right?
It's interesting because if you look on like Apple Music, it gives you the tracks, and there's a little bubble by like what people listen to the most, but then there's the E if it's explicit. And I'm like, there's only one song on this record that gets the E? I would have thought they all were. Okay, well, yeah, but yes, this is it. But you only need one though, and you get the sticker.
Yeah, I think in the liner notes, they didn't care. They're like, yeah, oh, you're not going to like the fact that we use the F word on Damage Inc., but don't worry, there's no cunts, motherfucker, cocksucker shit, anything else on the album for you to worry about. Which is funny to me. I like that a lot. Slamming through, don't fuck with Razorback. Stepping out, you'll feel our hell on your back. blood follows blood, and we make sure life ain't for you, and we're the cure. Honesty is my only excuse. Try to rob us of it, but it's no use. Steamroller action crushing all. Victim is your name, and you shall fall. Damage Incorporated.
It's interesting here because you're talking about tracking the album the same. They end Ride the Lightning with the instrumental.
Right.
They don't here. They give you an extra one at the end. So
Yeah.
I almost kind of like this better. You have one more on the way out.
That's super heavy. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
Yeah.
Orion is proggy. It's spacey. It's cool as hell, and I love it. But it makes sense that you would put that second to last just because there are no vocals on it, and it's a long one. I mean, it's about the longest on the album. I think Master's a little bit longer, just a touch.
Yeah. Okay. So Orion is 828. Master of Puppets looks like it's 836. Damage Inc. is 533. It's the second shortest song.
Yeah, so you have the shortest to begin with and the second shortest to wrap it up.
Yeah.
But it's kind of just sweet and to the point, and it's very evil and hard, and that's all just fine.
Pretty much sums up exactly what they're all about right now.
But, it was on the Billboard charts for like 72 straight weeks or something like that. And it got as high as 29, I think. Rockin' Album went to number 7, but it got to 29 on the charts in 80. Well, here's the thing. I don't know if that's as high as it got in 86 because it has re-entered the charts numerous times over the years, especially in 2022. But the fact of the matter is it sold at least 8 million in the United States because it sold 500,000 by the middle of 86 and it sold 8 million basically since SoundScan started in 91. So that's 8 million from 91 on.
Good Lord.
It sold about 1 million anyway before that. And it's SoundScan started about the same time that the Black Album started. And when the Black Album hit big, everything Metallica sold at that point.
I mean, we did the same thing. We're like, we got to get the rest of these records. Even though, I didn't have a copy of this at that point in time. You had to go out and get that. You had to go out and get Kill 'Em All. And because it was just, you had to listen to this more and more. And it's not the same. I mean, the Black Album is kind of its own thing.
Yeah.
This is much different. This is much heavier. This was the end of I don't know, maybe Injustice for All. That's kind of a weird in between because some people love it, some people hate it. It's the album. I don't think no one wanted to make that at that time.
Yeah, and they turned the bass way down because it's not Cliff and it's this new kid, so it's pretty murky in there. There's basically no bass, to be honest with you. And they kind of stayed on the same. We'll make these long, super long songs, heavy as hell.
Yeah.
Well, isn't one like the single version's like 8 minutes? Isn't it like 11 minutes or something crazy like that? It's sick. But like 8 times platinum US and 6 times platinum Canada and platinum all over the known world. It may not have happened right away. It all kind of came a little bit later. But
they were still, because that was their big claim to fame, is they had these records that nobody in the mainstream had heard, but they were still able to sell at least 1 million copies because they had these rabid mad dog fans that would go out and buy these things, and then word of mouth get to people. So yeah, they were definitely on their way. It's just this is the end of an era. Sorry, but this is the end of the original Metallica.
It's true. And we didn't know it at the time, but in September, Cliff would lose his life and then Metallica would spiral a little bit in their own sadness and alcoholism, take it out on Jason Newsted, make this heavy as hell and Justice for All, get themselves on MTV finally, and then realize, hey, wow, MTV isn't just for pop bands and pretty boys. We can actually use this to our advantage. Well, we'll get with Bob Rock next time, and we'll just see kind of what happens there, because they got to go on the Van Halen
Monsters of Rock tour,
the big Monsters of Rock tour in '88 for that, which opened them up to a lot more people, no doubt about that, playing stadiums and playing big shows. But it too eventually did 8 times platinum and looks like it's about 10 these days. Just, this was kind of the beginning. I think maybe the last time I said that Ride the Lightning was the beginning because it was produced better than Kill 'Em All. You're really kind of starting to go in a new direction. But this might be the high water mark. Again, you can never take away the time and the time in your life that you listened to Ride the Lightning, because that's where it holds that special place.
Yeah.
But if you kind of just as a critic kind of look back and say, all right, which of these is better? I may like and I have an emotional attachment to Ride the Lightning, but I think I can say that this is the better record.
Yeah, I really didn't want to say that either, but you're right. I mean, it's just everything is better on this. The musicianship, the composition,
James singing.
Yeah,
I mean,
correct.
It's all better, and it's taking them in that direction where they are now, where they have been for a long time now, about the biggest rock band on the planet. Certainly the biggest heavy metal band from America.
And to see them live still today, I mean, they sound phenomenal. They look phenomenal for being in their 60s now. I mean, Kirk looks better now than he did back then.
But yeah, that butt stash he had was a horrible idea.
Got their teeth fixed and the whole 9 yards. But I mean, it's just the fact that they can still play at this level and have fun doing it. And I understand, okay, they make a lot of money, great. But it just seems like they've kind of re-energized themselves, like the whole Kirk and Robert Doodle, where they just kind of hang out and just jam and
have a little fun.
Have a little fun with the audience. It just seems like they just still enjoy the whole thing. I understand they don't still live in the same house. I understand they don't spend, 14 weeks at a clip in a bus together anymore. Totally different, fly in, fly out, first class. But still, the fact that they're still having fun, they can still draw enormous crowds. I don't really think I understood until I saw this tour what a hold they still have over people. Because when we saw them in '91, they were a big. They were on MTV. They were selling records. It was, I'm a Metallica fan. Sure you are. You're a fan of everything that's on at this point in time. Shut up. Right. But now the fact is, like, I mean, these are lifelong fans. Who are they will go and see them anywhere, anytime.
And they're an incredible live band. They proved it by doing this 2 nights, no repeat. Like we don't have to just do the same 15 songs like certain bands do. Right. We can mix it up and do anything. The Kirk Doodles and Kirk and Rob, those are different every night. And sometimes they kind of have a kind of basis for what they want to do. Like, oh, wait, that comes from this. When I saw them at Slane Castle, and I think that was 2019, they played No Nay Never and sang it with the crowd in Ireland. I mean, how fun is that?
I'm sure that went over pretty well with that crowd.
It did, yeah, it did. And they did Whiskey in the Jar, of course, because Thin Lizzy played that stage, I don't know how many decades before, 3.5, something like that. But we can adjust to do whatever we have to do to give these folks a good show. So they're underrated as composers. They're underrated as musicians overall. And Cliff was kind of setting a new standard, taking metal in a new direction, and his loss was a real waste. I mean, I'm sure it was amazing touring with Ozzy and playing those bigger crowds and getting the bigger stage. So there was room for the set. And then having a big set was kind of part of their thing. I mean, eventually it became, we're just in the round with this cool thing with lots of flames, all that kind of stuff. But on the Justice for tour, they had Lady Justice, and the things would blow up and things would break during certain songs. So that's kind of part of the performance too, is the stage and the show. And I think they really took it up a notch on this tour. Was this when we had Jay on? Isn't this when he saw
Yes.
Metallica? Yeah.
Yeah. Like
Jay from the Hook rocks, by the way. God bless him. I hope he's doing well.
This was right. He saw them. I don't think it was the last Cliff Burton show, but it was one of the last. Like
in America?
At all. No, he was in Europe when it happened.
Okay, no, you're conflating. Jay from the Hook Rocks was in Chicago, and he went to the mall and hung out with them after the show on his bike.
Oh, that's right. Yes, I am getting these stories. Yeah, okay.
And the man who did our music for the show.
From Chupacabra.
That's right. And I'm going to come up with his name any minute now, because we have to say it right. Yeah, Jay Scott from the Hook Rocks is a friend of ours. He's one of our Pantheon brothers. He's had some health issues, and so we hope that he's recovering and doing well. But we, a long time ago, wanted to upgrade our music and intro and outro for the show. We're not really musicians, so we can't necessarily do that really easily. But we had a listener, a friend of the show, and a friend of Shout It Out Loudcast.
Nige Savage.
It was Nige Savage, yes, who did First Concert Memories for us. Nige Savage created our music, the outro, some of the stuff that we use on the intro. He's a big heavy metal fan. He has some amazing stuff in his collection, and he was good enough to not only create our music, but come on the show for us as well. Plus, we've had Stefan Shirazi and Renee Richardson from the Metallica Report on, who have been a support to us as well. So look, we'll always be Metallica fans. I figured I've seen them 7 times now. I don't know if I go to another no repeat weekend, because I did the first one in Amsterdam. I did the one in Nashville with you, and that was pretty special. I think I'm happy to put that one to bed and just see what they might come up with next.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what that will be. I mean, they definitely got revitalized, putting out 72 seasons. I think that was a very pleasant experience for them, and the way that the crowd reacted to it. So yeah, I'm interested to see what they would do next. If there's any way I could see them in a smaller venue, I don't know if that would happen. That would be cool. That stadium in Nashville was enormous, and the outdoor factor too just made it even bigger. So yeah, I agree with you. I'd see what they come up with next.
What an incredibly heavy album. Even the songs we don't love, like Disposable Heroes, just an attack and assault. Sounds like they're just under gunfire the entire time. And it's probably what they were going for. But goodness gracious, heavy as it could be. The thing that should not be may not be my favorite, but it is a heavy-duty, plodding, Sabbathy song. Love Battery, love Master of Puppets, love Orion, love Sanitarium. These are Metallica staples. And of course, we miss Cliff Burton because he added something that they haven't had since he was gone. And I think that Robert is a player kind of on his level, but it was his melody and his classical music training that really made him different and special. And apparently, if you saw him live, nobody headbanged like Cliff. And so we miss you, Cliff. Godspeed. All the best to you, man. And all the best to Metallica, who can kind of do whatever they want now. Like I said, for 3 years or whatever it was, they did the no repeat weekend. So that means now they've got to try to come up with something else. And I don't know what it'll be, but if I know it's from Metallica, it'll be quality, it'll be badass, and it'll be something that Jackson and I will review here on the show. And we want to know, folks, did we get something right? Did we get something wrong? Did we miss the point? Did we leave out your favorite part? Email us and let us know. It's uglyamericanwerewolf@gmail.com. Let us know the bands, albums, tours, concerts, DVDs, books, the rock properties you want to hear us talk about here on the program. We need you to download and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Share with your friends. And if you really want to do us a favor, hey, go out and give us a positive 5-star review. Spotify and Apple are the big ones, but it just means the world to us. It helps us find more rock and rollers like you. And if you send it our way, we might just read it on an episode, especially on Spotify. Thanks to Pantheon for making us part of the family, and thanks to our sponsor, rarevinyl.com, where you use the code UGLY, you can save 10% off one entire order, and yes, they have plenty of killer Metallica stuff. That's it for this week. We had intended to do some pretty heavy and hard rock albums all in a row, but we had the opportunity to interview some people who are special to us in very important bands in our formation. And so we're going to do that. These next couple weeks, we're going to have some very, very special guests on the show. Some of those heavy metal or hard rock albums we'll still get to this year. Some of them we're going to postpone because we're going to do this for 10, 15, 20 years. We're going to postpone some albums, but we'll get to them. And I think these interviews you're going to love. So you're going to have to stay tuned. Until next time, to all you rock and rollers all around the world, be cool. And keep doing what you do to keep rock alive.